Part of the session. This meeting is being videotaped. Anyone not wishing to be seen on television may be excused at this time. If you could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have no presentations tonight, and so we're going to go on to discussion items. So we wanted to have a discussion about the school calendar.
Thank you, Mrs. Schechter. Okay, so a couple of things for the board to weigh in on and talk about. So this year has presented a lot of snow challenges. It kind of exposes a calendar with 5 built-in days and shows how late into June we can traverse, which I don't think is healthy. Had a very productive calendar meeting, and that actually resulted in the initial version that was both shared with you in the packet and also by email. But I think that we need to have conversations about altering that calendar to make sure that our staff and our students are not in school into that almost dead last week of June. This year we had 4 so far, and the high school has to make up a 5th because of the loss of power. We've lost a lot of power, and I know this has been an outlier winter, but it's still making us go way late into June. So I gave you some examples, and this can go any way the board would like to go with it. There can be changes. I give you examples where we would build in 0 days and examples where we would build in 2 days. The 2-day build-in has us hard stopping at June 17th, which would then lead 2 full weeks into June, college visits, kids leaving for the military, camps, etc. What that means is that in order of pulling, what we would do or conceivably do would be to look at President's Day, after the 2 build-in days, President's Day if needed, and then going backwards in spring break, ensuring that we left the Friday and the Monday. Really, the only difference in the build-in 0 is that it's build-in 0 and you only have the days to pull from. And anything outside of those would mean that you'd have to tack on to the end of the year. But I just wanted to bring this to you as a discussion point. You know, maybe there's other things you'd like to talk about. I know the concept of spring break has been talked about, and in the past we had really only done, I think, the Thursday, Friday, Monday piece of spring break. That's the history that I think I'm saying correctly. But I just wanted your take on what your thoughts were, because the initial version, I just honestly think just makes us go too late, and I think that's a problem. Thoughts?
I like the build-in too. So you have the 2 emergency days for snow, inclement weather. My personal opinion.
Build-in 2?
I like the built-in too, but I would also like to re-look at shortening spring break.
Okay.
I just don't think it needs to be that long. I'd rather have my kids home with me in the summer than a day here and a day there.
Gotcha.
What's your recommendation?
Well, I don't think the initial version, well, I know the initial version is not a recommendation. I think it's at the pleasure of the board if you'd like to discuss as a group taking away spring break. If you were asking me which one of these 2 I would recommend the build-in 2, because it has this hard stop on Thursday the 17th with Friday being Juneteenth. So you'd have to have 7 inclement weather days, the 2 built-in, President's Day, and then the days from spring break to get you into that last week, which is highly unlikely. I'm going to knock on wood because after this winter. So if you ask me which of these 3, I think the built-in 2 makes the most sense. And that way you have 2 before you start attacking and taking away from spring break. But if there's enough members of the board that would like to address spring break and do it differently, then that would mean that whatever days we took off would simply back the calendar out depending on the calendar you pick. So if you went with the Thursday, Friday, Monday philosophy, you would back out then Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, and then Tuesday. So you could conceivably back up those days. So I guess the first question I would ask is there enough appetite to have the conversation about changing the actual spring break?
I have a question. I say yes.
Go ahead, Connie.
I'd like to know, you met with a cross-section of employees. I'd like to know what the teachers and the support staff said about shortening spring break.
The initial version of the calendar is what passed through that. So spring break was intact.
And
What was the discussion with the teachers? Did they want to shorten the spring break?
No, and that's, you have this, correct?
Okay, you're saying when you met with the employees, the support staff and teachers wanted a full week at spring break. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I am. I think, you want my copy?
I don't need it.
You don't need it? Okay. So
I-
the initial version has the recommendation of the committee,
Okay,
which included all of spring break.
Okay, I have a quick question. If, per chance, there were more than 2 snow days, where would the other days come on? Would it be added to the end of the school year, or would it be where you would cut some of the spring break?
On the built-in 2 calendar, Elaine? So on the built-in 2 calendar, if you were looking at makeup days, if there was a day that happened before President's Day on the 15th, that would be your first pull. After that, it's going to pull from spring break. So it would start on Friday the 2nd, and then Thursday, April the 1st, Wednesday the 31st, and Tuesday the 30th. So if you had 2, you wouldn't take away from spring break at all. If you
Right.
had a day before President's Day, you would have essentially 3 days to play with before you started taking away from spring break.
So there really wouldn't be a need to shorten spring break unless you absolutely had to, unless we had like another blizzard or 2, hopefully not.
I think the most important thing is whichever one you have to clearly delineate what the pull is. Otherwise, that's when I think NIC districts can get themselves in trouble.
Okay.
Okay, so I make a motion that we take the 2 days and leave the spring break.
Okay?
Wait, what were you saying?
We're not
Well-
done discussion.
We're in the middle of
discussion here.
discussion, but we have a motion. Does anyone have a second?
I'll second it.
I said there's a motion on the floor, and there can be continued discussion on the motion.
Okay, so the motion on the floor is to approve the 26-27 calendar with the 2 built-in days. We'd like to have discussion on that.
Discussion.
Go ahead, Connie.
I'm not in favor of that. I'm in favor of shortening the spring break, Thursday, Friday, Monday.
People make
You
plans.
just contradicted what you just asked about.
But here's my question is, so I'm looking at the 2-day option, and in April, it has that the kids are only off on the 1st and the 2nd. So does that mean that they're not off Monday too?
No, you have to go backwards into, so on the built-in 2, is that the one you're on? So when you look at, so spring break actually travels through March into April, so it would
Oh,
start.
that's craziness.
Yeah, it is. So,
What is the rationale behind it being that many days? Somebody
what, being the spring break?
Yeah.
I think just following suit with keeping Good Friday.
So now we make plans and all.
Sorry, I think, Steve, you had
I
a
have
discussion
question.
point. Go ahead,
I do.
Steve.
Dr. Hibbs, what does it look like if we have 0 days and we make spring break the Friday and that Monday and have that 4-day weekend?
Okay.
What does that look like?
So let me throw this to you first. I believe in the past what we've done when we had that, I believe it was Thursday, Friday, Monday. So can I give you that example? Or do you want me to just?
You can give me that, but I
You wanna know
wouldn't
2?
want the Thursday, Friday. I would want the
Okay.
4-day weekend.
So if you were looking at the built-in 2 snow days, and you're saying the parameters are there were no snow days, correct?
0, yes.
Okay, so you would automatically back up 2. So it would go from the 17th and the 16th, the 15th would be there, and if you are eliminating off of spring break, I'm hearing that you're keeping Friday, the 25th, progressive lenses, and Monday, sir, the 29th, correct? Which means that you are eliminating Friday the 2nd, Thursday the 1st, the 31st, which is Wednesday, and Tuesday, which is the 20th. So if you've already backed it out 2 days to take you there, you're backing out another 4 days, 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe my rough estimates are Wednesday the 9th.
At last day of school.
Yes.
Okay.
Terry?
Go ahead, Connie.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of people wanting to shorten the spring break, and there's a couple of reasons for that as well. I think in the past we had Thursday, Friday, and Monday. Remember now, teachers don't get, that's not any holiday for teachers. Teachers get paid for the days they work. However, all 12-month employees, all administration, that's all extra days. That's all extra holidays. And I think in terms of the workforce, we don't need a 6-day holiday.
They need a break.
Pardon me?
They need a break.
Yeah, you're bringing up your past now.
You're right, I experienced that.
That's additional holidays for 12-month employees, not teachers. And I know I have heard from community members and teachers
Please let Connie
and
finish.
teachers that would want a Thursday, Friday, Monday.
I agree, Connie. I like it Thursday. I would even like a half-day Thursday, Friday, Monday.
Okay, so, Steve, did you have something for the discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to,
Well,
We have a motion
hold
on
on,
the
hold
floor.
on. I'd like to make a motion to shoot.
Motion, we have to
You
vote.
can't
Doesn't Robert's rules allow me to make a motion to shoot his motion down?
We're on,
To amend his motion?
you can make a motion to amend the motion on the floor.
What is the motion?
I would maybe,
Motion on the
Just roll
floor.
call it. Just roll, I'm a no vote. Just roll call
The
it.
motion we have on the floor,
Just roll call. I don't want to confuse anyone and belabor the process.
What's the motion
Roll
on the
call.
floor? I want to know the motion on the
Vote
floor.
anyway.
the motion on the floor is to approve the calendar with the 2 days built in with a end date of
17th.
the 17th with a full 5-day spring break unless we go above the 2 days. I guess it would be the 4th snow day, right? Because we'll take from President's Day depending on the timing of the storm.
Yes.
So that's do we, I think there's other discussion, so I'd like to finish the
Can I
discussion.
can I amend that? Can I amend that?
Well, why don't we finish the discussion? And then we can vote on the motion, because I think there's 2 issues we're
We
talking
can't
about.
amend it, though.
Oh,
No, just,
we can amend it.
there you go. That was what I was looking for earlier.
is there any more discussion on the motion on the table? That's the initial question.
I have a discussion point. Connie, I participated in the calendar meeting. Pat asked me to represent her. She was able to attend. I would say that the majority of the folks who did participate in that meeting were not in favor of changing the current spring break. My feedback is I agree that it's something we should look at in the long term, but I'm not sure addressing it for the upcoming year, rather than truly understanding what the overall feelings are, not just the members here, or not just who we talk to, but perhaps getting more feedback before making a big change like that for the next year. That's my feedback from that meeting. Scott, did you have something to say?
Yes, I like your idea. I just wondered, do we have a way of polling, like of doing a survey of the staff?
Sure.
That way you'd have real-time data as to what people think. I mean,
Yeah, I like that idea. A survey with the staff. I'd like to see a survey with the staff.
Parents too, because I
Yeah.
want to know what parent wants their kids home for 7 days.
if we could, I don't know if we have the ability to do that, but, I mean, getting some data with the community and the staff would like to do. My personal view, I
Why
mean,
do
I
we have
think
a calendar
it's
committee
ending
then?
too late now. It is a little bit ridiculous, because you're gonna, I think we're gonna graduate on 4th of July at this point. Not really, I'm just kidding.
People are already asking what is going on with the calendar. If we don't take action on it tonight and we wait and we're surveying all these people, I mean, sometimes this is just how it happens. We have a committee and the committee makes a decision and then we all get feedback from the public, which we have. Is there one person up here who has not gotten feedback from the public? I mean, we're here to represent them. That's why they reach out to us. So I'm just concerned if we let it go any longer, then people really can't plan because now they're into April. So I'm just throwing that out. And one thing is, if Ralph's motion is to approve the add-in to calendar as is, right? And somebody said that they wanted to kind of talk about cutting spring break. We can vote on Rouse and then talk about that topic of cutting spring break after it's two separate calendar ideas. So in the end, you could do both and have a vote for both, but right now you probably should just vote on the one.
Just to clarify, the survey I was talking about would be for like next year, that we
Got it.
collect that data and we use that to build the calendar for next year.
27, 28.
Yeah, yeah.
Which we could do this year. We could survey this year.
So then can we have a roll call on the current motion, and then we can continue our conversation on spring break? Okay.
Mrs. Baker?
No.
Mrs. Clancy?
Yes.
Mrs. Hartong?
Yes.
Ms. Kazempel?
Yes.
Mr. LaLiberty?
Yes.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Serrano?
No.
Mrs. Schechter?
Yes.
Yes.
6-2.
So now I think we can have discussion on if we want to change the calendar spring break for 26, 27. Is that the discussion we'd like to have?
Yeah, the 27th.
Do we want a motion for that?
26, 27. 26, 27.
Someone making a motion?
We need a
Are Connie or Steve, do you want to make a motion about spring break for 26, 27?
Why would we do that now?
Well, I think we have board members that want to.
I think we discussed making two separate motions.
I want to give you guys the opportunity to bring up or make a motion for spring break for next year.
If you don't want to, you don't have to.
I want to be very clear before I make this motion. 4 days, the 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, with us being back in school, 30, 31, and 1, April 1st, April 2nd, correct? If we have 4 days.
Thursday the 25th is what you're saying? In school the 25th, all out the 26th. Right now it's March.
Yes.
It's April 2nd. Okay.
Yes. So,
Thursday the 28th.
so,
When is Passover?
Later.
Back in the
21st.
30th? Steve, back into school the 30th?
say it again?
Back in
Why don't we
school the
take those dates
30th?
from Easter? Put them on-
I can't hear you.
Back in school the
Why are we
30th?
doing it for next year?
I think Steve wants to make a motion.
What's your question, Mr. Ralph?
My question,
Mr. Ross?
is why are we doing it next year's? When we-
You just said this was 26, 20,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 26.
this year, right?
Yes, that's for the calendar we're talking about right now. So you want to make a
Yeah,
motion?
absolutely.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to,
For this calendar we're discussing now for 26,
This is
27.
for 26, 27.
School year starting
who
September
seconded?
1st.
Yeah, next year's calendar.
Ask
Steve's
for a
making the motion to
second.
go Friday, Monday off only.
Friday, Monday off. I'd like to make a motion that we shorten spring break to 26, 27, I'm sorry, March 26th, March 27th. Well, those are weekend days, but I'm going to go through the full dates. 26, 27, 28th, 29th, and back in school on March 30th.
Okay, you got that, Lori?
Yep.
Can I?
Any second?
Was that clear? I want to make sure that my motion is clear.
Do we have a second?
Second, yeah, sure, why not?
Linda, second. Okay, would anyone have any discussion items? Okay, go
So
ahead, Dr. Hibbs.
when we do this, so we would still then, if we had a day on President's Day, I need everybody to weigh in on if you're still okay pulling that day, and then the Friday, Monday are going to be untouchable, correct? So that any day that would happen after 2/15/27 would be tacked onto the end of the year. So it would just be a 1-for-1. So if we after the two built-in and President's Day, everything would go after. Correct?
Correct.
That assumption?
Correct.
Okay.
What does that bring the last day of school to with that motion?
I believe it takes you to, let me just do the math on it, Mr. Serrano. So you are taking away Friday the 2nd, Thursday the 1st, the 31st, and the 30th, which is 4 days. Now, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to assume first that there was no snow days at all. It should be built in two, right? So building in two, and we don't use them, would back you up. The last day is the 17th, so the last day would then be the 15th, okay? So if you didn't use any then, you'd back up 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe it's the 9th. And if you use it then, it would slide to Friday the 11th.
Go ahead, Connie.
I'm not in favor of just Friday and Monday. I think it should be Thursday, Friday, Monday.
Any other discussion on the motion?
Can I amend it to Thursday, Friday?
I'll amend it.
You'll amend it?
I'm not in favor of taking any of the days away.
I'd like to amend the motion to include that Thursday off.
All right, so
And that
there's
would be
a
the
motion to- There's a
25th.
motion to amend, is there a second?
Motion to amend
Is there a
my motion,
second
yes.
To amend the motion.
Okay, so Thursday, Friday, Monday. Okay.
So someone has to second it.
Second?
What does that put?
Linda seconded.
It's one more day.
I already have
Either-
Connie down.
Okay, are we ready for a roll call?
No.
So,
Discussion, right?
I guess there's
Still in
What is
technically,
the amended
there's
motion? How does it
technically-
read?
We still in discussion?
we can still be in discussion.
Yeah.
if
Can we
there is
please
discussion.
clarify what the amended motion was so I can have it for the minutes correctly?
Yes, my amended motion was to include during spring break, it was originally 4 days, including the weekend. I'm including the 25th. So you're going to have the 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, and the 29th back in school on March 30th. That is the amendment to my motion.
To add the 25th and take out 30, 31, 1, and 2.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Discussion, go ahead, Scott.
All right, yeah. So, all right, on this topic, I just want to be careful. I said yes to Ralph's motion because I do agree, I thought we were ending too late in the year. I thought the proposal that the administration put forward was reasonable in that it didn't make dramatic changes to the calendar. It put contingency plans in if, God forbid, we have another crazy winter like we do. And I don't disagree with the thoughts that you're putting forth that spring break might be too long and that, maybe we should cut it. But what my fear is that we are taking a chainsaw to the discussion and the hard work that the calendar committee that we empowered to do this did. Right? And if we're going to make changes, I think, and maybe we look a year out, we poll, we get some data and discuss that with the calendar committee and have a discussion and not just tear it down. So.
I also, as a participant of that committee, one thing that came up, and I guess it's a question more for Nick or Dr. Hibbs, there are some potential financial impacts if people have scheduled vacations for next year. Is that accurate, Nick? Is that?
I can't opine on anybody's financial impact of a scheduled vacation.
No, I think the district might have some potential liability.
I think the question was phrased, I'm going to turn you a little bit
Yeah.
right. So if not in this scenario, I think this is enough time to give people fair and adequate notice. But if we were changing it for this year, for instance, people asked, could we just add spring break days and do it differently than the calendar suggests? My experience in the past has
For 25, 26.
yes, has showed me that then we would be responsible
For the current
for
calendar.
navigating that carefully.
I mean, I would have to look into that. I know there would be some equitable concerns there for sure if you're doing it at the last minute, but because this discussion
This is for next school
concerning
year?
the 26, 27,
Thank
I
you.
think we're well in advance. I will just say, as we move on from the discussion, we have 2 votes to take care of with respect to the pending motions. We have to first vote on the amendment to the motion. Assuming the amendment to the motion passes, we will then vote on that amended motion. So there's 2 votes.
So Connie, I think you had a question?
No, the only thing I just want to mention, I was involved in a situation where, where something had to be changed, and what they did was, if an employee had airline tickets, they had proof that they had something planned, then the district worked with them. Either they took a personal day or they took a day and they got docked.
Thanks, Connie. Any other discussion? Then I think we'll do a roll call on the motion to amend the initial motion, right? So this is just letting Steve change it to the 3-day, Thursday, Friday, Monday. Okay. Roll call?
Mrs. Clancy?
No?
Mrs. Hartong?
Yes.
Ms. Kazempel?
Yes.
Mr. La Liberty?
No.
Mr. Ross?
No.
Mr. Serrano?
Yes.
Mrs. Baker?
Yes.
And Mrs. Schechter?
Yes.
Motion passed.
5.
Okay. So now we'll need a roll call on the actual
The actual
amendment, the amended motion.
Do we want to restate what the actual motion is, so we're all clear? I think that's a good idea.
So it's to amend the 26-27 calendar with a 4-day spring break, the 26th, 27th, 28th, and 29th?
No,
And back in on the
no,
30th.
25,
The
26.
amended- Yeah, the
In other
amended
words, Thursday,
include-
Friday, Monday.
already
included
did
the
that.
20, it included the 25th.
Yeah, we already did that when she mentioned that. That
Well,
was
now
the
we're
vote.
voting
No,
on,
we're
no, we
just letting them
voted to
change it.
amend it to that. Now we're actually voting
Voting on
on
it.
whether or not the board is going to make the change.
Okay.
The first vote was just to
Elect,
put the amendment on the floor. Now, or to amend, yeah, I'm sorry, to amend the actual motion.
now
we're-
so now we're actually voting on the calendar with a spring break of Friday, Monday, Tuesday.
Thursday.
Thursday, Friday,
Thursday.
Monday.
Monday.
Okay.
The 25th, 26th, and 29th.
Thursday, Friday, Monday.
And back in on Tuesday.
Yes.
So we're voting to amend the 26-27 calendar to include Thursday, Friday, and Monday. Roll call?
Mrs. Hartong?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, was I not supposed to vote?
We didn't get a motion, so it was
The
Steve and
original.
Connie. Okay. Mrs. Hartong?
Yes.
Ms. Kazempel?
Yes.
Mr. La Liberty?
No.
Mr. Ross?
No.
Mr. Serrano?
Yes.
Mrs. Baker?
Yes.
Mrs. Clancy?
No.
Mrs. Schechter?
No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 to 4.
Doesn't carry.
So that motion failed. Did
what?
not carry. The motion did not carry. Okay. Moving on to
It's going to be
community,
brought up again, right? Following year.
moving on to community relations. Your report, Mr. Distilio?
Thank you, Ms. Schechter. Just want to say thank you to my colleagues who are sitting in the back. All of them, to a person, have been really instrumental in helping me and other colleagues with the upcoming state test, particularly at the high school right now. We have the NJGPA. I want to be very clear to families who are watching that all juniors, in order to be on the pathway to graduation, every single junior who is scheduled to graduate in 2027 must sit for the state test. That's a state requirement. Our testing windows are March 16th through the 18th. We definitely need a fully charged device from every single student. We will not be giving out loaners on those test days, and wired headphones for the portion of the test that are ELA. We have math on the first day, ELA reading on the second, and then ELA writing on the third. And headphones must be a standard jack, no AirPods, no Apple Watches, smartwatches, no Meta glasses. Any Bluetooth-enabled device is considered a not secure material and cannot be part of the testing environment. And then there's some important policies as far as, if you don't sit, there's alternate pathways and things of that sort. However, that is not a path that any junior wants to undertake. And the state just released something, so if people go on to New Jersey Assessments portal, they can see the test sessions and the numbers there, but we are totally committed as a district to the solidarity and efficacy of this process, and I just want to make a formal announcement to thank my colleagues over there. You guys have been outstanding. Thank you so much. Chestnut Ridge Drama Club alumni, you are invited. From previous board meeting, Mr. Scardino announced his retirement, and on April 18th at 7 p.m., he's inviting people who were part of his ensemble throughout the years to come and be part of the final performance at Chestnut Ridge. I think that's an awesome idea, very Mr. Holland's Opus-esque. We are going to publicize this on the website and on socials, and I know Ms. Petrowski is going to publicize this. There's a QR code, so if anybody was part of his production at any point and would like to participate or just sign up and order T-shirts as a remembrance, please do so. That will be forthcoming. Again, that's April 18th, that one. CPAG is having, they announced its 2026 meetings on March 5th. I believe that's Wednesday. The Washington Township Public Schools Special Ed Program is going to have an overview presented by Washington Township Special Education Administration. And then April 14th, they're going to have a presentation from a family advocate, and that is being published by the various schools as well. We have a big craft fair coming up this Saturday. It's a massive fundraiser for the high school, the biggest one of the year. It's going to be at the 910 Gantown entrance, doors A5 by the core. There's a flyer. It just went out. Saturday, March 7th, 9 to 3. There's going to be food trucks, over 140 vendors, a bake sale table, some giveaways, snacks. All proceeds go to support teacher mini grants, $15,000 in senior scholarships, high school activities, senior barbecue, and much, much more. So please, if you can participate, please do so at this time. Some things to highlight about the Sunday Fun Day. If this meeting gets over, we'll have Dine and Donate for DECA at Pat Select. It's till 9. Bell's Cupcake Wars is coming on March 6th from 6 to 8. Dr. Giberson and Mr. Morgan are here. Birch's Parents Night Out at AAR Workshop, which is very cool, March 6th. Bell's PTO Texas Roadhouse Dine and Donate, March 19th. Orchestra Egg Your Yard fundraiser. Deadline to order is March 20th, 2026. The Colette Blestein Paying It Forward Foundation Handbag Bingo, March 21st, 2026. That's at the American Legion Post in Brooklawn. Township Night at the Phillies is April 28th of this year. And finally, a very important announcement, Dreams Come True, where we support families just like the Hoagie Sale who are facing medical setbacks. It's going to be March 13th from 7 to 10 at Valari's Lakeside on Sicklerville Road. And the Sunday Fun Day will have more information on that to access it through a Zephy link. Thank you so much, Ms. Schechter.
Thank you. Mrs. Schechter, can I just add something? Don't forget to get your tickets for Bye Bye Birdie. They are on sale now. Bye Bye Birdie is March 12th to the 14th with 2 shows on the 14th, one at 2 and one at 7. And maybe if you come to the craft fair, it's going to be a beautiful day. We have lots of really good food trucks coming. You might be able to get a sneak peek at Bye Bye Birdie songs. Maybe if we can get them to come out of their wet tech. So we'll see. But maybe. So come to the craft fair and find out. But in the meantime, buy your tickets for Bye Bye Birdie. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hartong. Also, if anyone is free Wednesday evening at 6, the Birches Drama Club presentation of The Little Mermaid. I promise not to mention any names, but I've heard it's going to be great if anyone's free. Thank you. So we'll move on to our student board member report. John?
Thank you. We have had some pretty exciting things going on at Washington Township High School. The freshman-sophomore semi-formal was held on Friday, February 20th at Masters in Glassboro. It was a fun night full of singing, dancing, and the memories that were made will last a lifetime. With that being said, the junior prom, Glitz and Glamour, will be held on April 17th from 6 to 10 p.m. at the Doubletree Hotel in Cherry Hill. Tickets will be sold this week and next week by the Junior and Senior Class Council. Additionally, the orchestra held their 42nd annual ASTA Festival at Washington Township High School on February 25th. There was a guest conductor, Dr. Jessica Morrell, for the entire ensembles from grades 6 to 12. It was free admission to all and began promptly at 7 p.m. Our Science National Honor Society as well as Math National Honor Society had their induction ceremonies earlier this month. Our hardworking students got recognized for their academic success thus far in both subjects and were awarded a certificate for their achievement. The African American Culture Club held its 12th annual Black History Month Dinner Theater on Thursday, February 26th from 6:30 to 8:30 in Cafe CD at Washington Township High School. The show started at 6:45 and tickets were sold on booktix.com for $15. The Washington Township High School Theater Department will be having their spring musical Bye Bye Birdie on March 12th and 13th at 7 p.m. and March 14th at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. in the Republic Bank Performing Arts Center. Tickets can be purchased on booktix.com for $15 and they will also be sold at the door. I spoke with several students at the high school to hear their honest feedback about their experiences and concerns. Many students shared how meaningful it is to be involved in programs like jazz band, wind ensembles, theater, sports teams, clubs, and school activities. At the same time, there still remains concern among some students about the upcoming schedule change. Students feel forced to choose between taking electives they are passionate about and having a lunch period. Students want to explore different interests, try something new, and still have the time they need to eat their lunch. In addition, some students express concerns about increased academic pressure from grading policies that place heavier weight on major assignments, making it harder for students who struggle with time management to recover from mistakes. Some students report they are now used to the grading change after having finished the first semester. Students also brought up everyday school experiences such as crowded hallways and feeling uncomfortable using the bathrooms at school. The elementary school book fairs at some schools are either up and running this week or will be soon, and Read Across America is actually today on Dr. Seuss's birthday. Many schools are doing themed activities to encourage our students to enjoy reading and to make it a part of their everyday lives. Schools are doing read aloud activities and even stopping as a school to read all at the same time. I hope that our students really enjoy this special time. We have some amazing upcoming drama events at our middle schools. Orchard Valley Middle School will stage the junior version of Mean Girls on March 26th through the 28th, and on the same dates, Bunker Hill Middle School will perform Seussical the Musical Junior. Finally, Chestnut Ridge Middle School will be having its spring musical, Rock of Ages, on April 17th, 18th, and 19th. On February 19th, 2026, Mr. Anderson and I held a town hall meeting in the IMC for students to come in with questions. Some students joined us with schedule questions, and we were able to speak with a junior, Jacob Shakar, about something called AP Capstone, a program we would like to explore for the high school. Mr. Anderson informed me that he has begun conversations with Dr. Hibbs and Mrs. Gerber regarding this potential initiative for our students. Overall, students are grateful for what the school offers and are hopeful that with student input, changes can be made in a way that continues to support a healthy and productive learning environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Gianna. Okay. Moving on to
Terry, just one second, Ms. Schechter, 1 second. Dr. Hibbs, I think we really need to sit down with Mr. Anderson and really talk about the issues at the bathrooms in the high school. Because this isn't the first time we're hearing it. It's not the first time it's come up. Gianna is not the first student to express what's going on. I think we need to figure out what's going on and how to fix it, because it is a problem.
What committee would that go to?
that we could add it to?
Would that go SAC?
That's the one you're,
But I think that sitting down with Mr. Anderson first, having
Yeah.
a conversation.
Because there shouldn't be kids who won't use the bathroom because of various things going on in the bathroom. It's a medical issue, it's a safety issue.
Yeah, every child should feel comfortable going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
No problem. Mr. Anderson's always accessible. He's happy to have a conversation anytime. Where is he? There he is, right there. Thank you.
okay.
Okay. Moving on to correspondence, can I have a motion to approve E1 letters of discipline? There's no other correspondence at this time, right? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, moving on to the minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes for the month of January 2026?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Just record, I'm abstaining on the January 20 minutes, just because I wasn't here that day.
Okay. Got that one. Is there any old business that anyone would like to review? Go ahead, Connie.
Bear with me, I have about 5 items under old business. The first thing, I don't know if we have a policy or not, but there seems to be confusion when votes are taken. There's been different people that have said whether the votes passed. It's been the attorney, it could be Lori, it could be Mrs. Wechter. I know I looked under school boards, and it says the board secretary is the one who's supposed to certify the vote according to them. Do we have a policy on who certifies the vote?
Nick?
We have a policy on voting. Whether or not it speaks to who certifies the vote, I am uncertain.
Can we take that away for you, Connie?
I can look into that for sure.
Or can we, who's the head of policy? Is that you, Elaine? Are you head of policy? Maybe you could go to policy and we can come up with who sitting at the dais certifies the vote.
So we'll add that to the policy agenda, and Nick can look into it for us.
Second question I have, we have an insurance company that deals with providing legal service. What time of the year is that renewed? Is that renewed every year, the company that takes care of providing legal services for us? The insurance company?
Yeah, we're in a joint insurance fund that's renewed every 3 years.
Okay, when is that renewed each year?
I can check for you and report back.
I think that's the only one for this year.
Possibly, yeah.
I think so.
Okay, so
That's what
that gets renewed every year?
No, it's a joint insurance fund, so it's a 3-year agreement.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And just so everyone knows, what we normally do when it's a year for joint insurance funds, we just complete applications to other joint insurance funds and then take the best, whatever the best quote is for our district.
Okay. In the last budget, we cut custodians, a number of custodians. I think we cut the courier who delivers mail. Are there people on staff that are being paid overtime to do some of the work of these people that were cut?
Not for,
Not overtime.
no, the people on staff, yes.
People on staff are picking it up.
Okay, so people on staff may be picking up, but they're not being paid overtime.
Is there a specific question we can answer for you?
I'm just, because the follow-up question is, if we're paying overtime, I'm just wondering, for the budget season, how much money are we paying in overtime? But you're telling me that where we might have a shortfall, nobody's getting paid any additional money. It's just coming out of their workday. Is that what I'm hearing correctly?
I think that we need a more specific question. If you're asking about mail delivery, nobody's getting paid overtime to do that.
Okay, are there
In general-
people on staff filling in for custodians because we cut custodians and they're being paid overtime?
You would need that.
Yeah,
You would need to ask a more specific question or provide us more details. Is the question, if the question is, are there custodians that sometimes get paid overtime, the answer is yes, but I can't answer that question just sitting here at the dais with no information.
Okay. On January 20th, I raised the question that we cut BSI staff, interventionists. We've had staff come up and talk to us. We've had community members write to us about students losing some of those services that were replaced with computer programs. At the January meeting, I had asked, what measures are in place that's going to help us understand evaluate the effectiveness of what we did? It was stated, and it's in our minutes that we just passed, that it would, and I was not at a couple meetings. It was stated it was going to be discussed in IA, that there was going to be a full report for the board. I looked at the minutes, and I haven't seen any report. Did we receive a report? Maybe I was not there and I missed it, but I can't find any report that followed up on my question. What measures are in place to be able to measure the effectiveness of what we did in cutting those staff?
So there will be no measures that will show the effectiveness of constantly having to make drastic cuts to staff because we consistently have a budgetary gap. No one would have ever recommended any cuts to BSI. I've made numerous recommendations to the board, which I don't think are in the best interest of rehashing here at the dais again, on what pathways could have been that could have avoided some of those cuts. But those recommendations were not taken, and we end up where we end up. So this was firmly discussed in IA.
Yep.
We absolutely did. We had a thorough discussion on it, and I think everybody at the table agrees that we don't want to cut interventionists. We want to add interventionists. The problem is that when you consistently have a budget shortfall that has been looming and here for years, year after year after year, cuts, they start to really hurt children, and this is one of those specific cuts. So if you're looking for a measure that's going to show that what we're doing is effective, there are none. That what would have been effective is, sadly, recommendations being taken seriously.
Right now, correct me if I'm wrong, we eliminated staff, and students are working at the computer on programs to help them in the areas that they're deficient in. I'm asking, is there any way that we are determining whether or not this is successful or not?
Yeah, so Connie, we do. We have measures from the digital tools that we use, and we have a balance between human intervention and digital intervention. Some kids get full human intervention, some get a combo, and some get digital intervention with a BSI instructor coming in and following up and seeing how they're progressing and motivating them to do better. Because sometimes that digital tool is, because they're in with the way we tier them, we have tiers within the tier. So those are the kids who could just need just a little bit of support, where the more intensive has the interventionist or the BSI teacher with them more frequently. So we tiered our students that all need those interventions. So yes, we have digital metrics for each child, showing growth for each child or lack thereof. And then we remedy that based off of just like we would if they were working with a teacher. Sometimes we're working with a teacher, they make growth, sometimes they don't, and we modify and we adjust. But I think for the most part, that's the best method we came up with the staffing analysis we had.
Is there criteria for how a child would get BSI services?
That is a requirement to have criteria for a BSI child.
Where would a person find that criteria?
We put it into Linkit. We do a selection process where it takes a percentage of students based
No,
off
I
of...
mean, I'm saying a parent. Would a parent be able to find this anywhere?
Yeah, and they can always reach out. At every time they're selected for basic skill services, they have the opportunity to call and go over their child's individual metrics that qualified them.
Has the criteria changed this year in any way from last year?
It always changes based off of different assessments that we give, different benchmark assessments that we give, state assessments, local assessments. So it's revolving as times change. But I mean, the main metrics are really around the core of literacy and the core understandings of math.
Okay. The final issue that I want to bring up, April 16th, two board members, at the time Carol Chilla and Linda Hartong, filed an ethics complaint against me, and a decision came down January 27th. Totally dismissed it. I had every right to bring up my thoughts about how we could save money in the budget. So I want to make that clear. It was brought up, it was on Facebook, people read all about it, saw everything, totally dismissed. Thank you.
Thanks, Connie. Anybody else have any old business?
That's more of a question. Maybe it's something that could go to IA for like interventionists and stuff like that. I know we have some grants that we use for that type of stuff. Are there additional grants that we could be looking for, or services that we could look for to look for grants potentially?
Possible.
That's something that IA could discuss. I mean, just because the problem's money, right? So if we can find some grants, that would help.
Yeah.
And then one other question. What's the last day of school now, just based upon the snow days that we have thus far?
I don't have that calendar from me. I believe it's the Thursday, but the high school's going to have to come on that Friday.
That Friday, okay.
Thank you.
As of right now, knock on wood.
Yeah, right.
There's no more old business. Do I have a motion to open to the public?
Motion.
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Is there any cards? No? Mr. Anderson.
So good evening, everyone. Week after week as a Board of Education, you are tasked with voting on many important items that are pertinent to our schools. Tonight, I am here as president of the Washington Township Principals Association and a representative of our group as well. I would like to draw your attention to two agenda items that are of significant importance. First and foremost, it is an honor and privilege to take a moment to recognize the stellar career of our Assistant Superintendent, Gretchen Gerber, who is up for retirement tonight. Gretchen has served this district for many years in multiple capacities as an elementary school teacher, a middle school teacher, supervisor of elementary education and basic skills, principal of Bell School, director of elementary education, and now is our assistant superintendent of curriculum and instruction. What the district is losing is a woman of intelligence, brilliance, experience, leadership, deep curricular knowledge, institutional knowledge, and a way of motivating people to always be their best. Gretchen has had a positive influence on the lives of tens of thousands of students, thousands of teachers, lots of administrators, many of whom are here tonight, all along the way during her career. She truly supports us, gives us praise, and you know what else she does? Tells us when we're doing something that's not right or we could do better. And that's what makes all of us better, is she challenges us to make sure that we're always moving forward and always doing the right thing. And that comes from personal experience. All in, true story, true story. And I am thankful for that forever. All in the best interest of making our district number one and our students number one. On behalf of the WTPA, we wanted to remind everyone of the contributions that Gretchen has made to our profession and most importantly to our district. She leaves a legacy of excellence, leadership, brilliance, and a work ethic like no one else. I will personally miss our 9:30 at night phone calls, as I'm sure we could all attest, principals and supervisors, as we work together to solve the problems of the world and make sure that our kids have it all. I speak on behalf of everyone by saying we are so happy for your retirement, Gretchen, but you will be sorely missed. We thank you for everything. If you could do another round of applause for Gretchen Gerber. So I mentioned there are 2 items. Additionally, we are excited for the future of our district. I would like to draw your attention to another agenda item for tonight for Gretchen's successor. A nominee is on the board for tonight. The WTPA fully supports and is very excited about the recommendation of Tricia Holmes to the Board of Education for your vote this evening. Tricia brings K-12 experience, institutional knowledge, and another work ethic to get the job done, no holds barred, all the time, while supporting students and staff alike. I know I went over. Thank you for indulging me. I'll stop. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful night.
Heather Whitcraft.
Hi, Mr. Anderson's taller. I wanted to say I appreciate hearing there's been communication regarding procedures when interacting with ICE. However, I wanted to make a request as the policy committee and the chair to please create official board policies to further protect our district staff and families should ICE happen to come to our doors or bus stops. Sorry, this is magnetic. Has the attorney advised the board and records keeper about repercussions of wrongfully denying OPA requests and or denying the existence of certain records? Are you financially prepared for the lawsuits that will come from this type of behavior and those actions? Under Finance and Facilities, number 13 is a request to be operational. I was just wondering if anybody knows what miscellaneous is. And then one more thing. In 2018, Township schools were selected to pilot the No Place for Hate program, but for the last year or so, that poster has been hanging in the corner. I was just wondering if we're no longer proud to hang that in the central administration building or if you need a hook, but thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Kozar?
Good evening, everybody. Chrissy Kozar from the Washington Township support staff. I would like to offer Mrs. Gerber our deepest thank yous and congratulations on your retirement. Well deserved. Don't come back. Don't come back. It's not a good idea. Don't come back. We love you, but enjoy your retirement. You know, don't decide you've not had enough and come back. Okay. And I do want to recognise our custodians, our maintenance, and our transportation staff for the work that they've been doing to try and make sure that our schools are safe, that our buses are safe, and that these children get to school and back home safely. Everybody has gone above and beyond this year with the issues that we've had with the weather. I drove around several of our schools, visited transportation. Those buildings were amazing. So I really think that they need a huge thank you. I know it's part of our job to come in and do these things, but they really did go above and beyond, and I think they just need a thank you. It's a very small word, but it means an awful lot, so I would like to make sure that everybody recognises their hard work. Is President's Day built into our contract as an official day not here? Because if it is, there might be some repercussions, so I think we should check on that. Somebody asked me that. Food service is supposed to be an enterprise initiative, which means it's supposed to be self-sufficient financially. After slashing the hours and benefits of many of their staff, are they now working in the black? And not the red? Did that work, that initiative? So that's one of my questions. I'd love an answer at some point in time. And going through the financials this week, I see that this month, I beg your pardon, I see that we have paid Denovi $134,541, and a little bit of change. ESS, $1,780,049. Is that right? Is that, yeah? For substitutes? Substitutes for non-filled positions or substitutes for absences?
We'll finish your comments and we're
Okay.
going to go back and forth.
You writing a list? Because I have a list of questions. That is an awful lot of money in 1 month. I don't understand why we can't hire staff if it's for hiring. I don't know if we're not advertising in the right places, the right ways. I know we're advertising, but nobody's picking up these jobs. There's a reason they're not doing that. So we need to look into it a little bit further, because $1,780,000 in a month is just unbelievable to me. I'm sorry, it just is. I'm kind of speechless.
That's your time, Ms. Kozar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get an email with my responses, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
I don't,
That's what we usually do, just answer.
yeah, I don't have, I don't think that,
I mean, what I can say about ESS is obviously it's for substitutes. It could be higher in some months than others because it's not when we have a bills list, it's not necessarily 1 month. They bill on a weekly basis. Sometimes we go back and forth with them. So it could be multiple, it could be more than a month that's on this month's bills list, but we use a lot of substitutes.
we do. And I'll be happy to look into the President's Day piece for you, Chrissy. And thank you for recognizing transportation, maintenance, custodians. We wouldn't run without all those incredible people, for sure.
Yes, thank you. They did an incredible job. Okay. Do you have a motion to close to the public? That was my last card.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, report of the superintendent. Do we have a motion to approve the report of the superintendent items number 1 through 3?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Ms. Kazempel?
Yes.
Mr. LaLiberty?
Yes.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Serrano?
Yes.
Mrs. Baker?
Yes.
Mrs. Clancy?
Yes.
Mrs. Hartong?
Yes.
Mrs. Schechter?
Yes.
No items for item.
Okay. No items under instructional affairs at this time. So moving on to policy. Do we have a motion to approve policy items 1 through 5?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Any discussion?
Oh, sorry. Any discussion? Seeing none? Roll call.
Mr. LaLiberty?
Yes.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Serrano?
Yes.
Mrs. Baker?
No to number 1, yes to the rest.
Mrs. Clancy?
Yes.
Mrs. Hartong?
No to 1, yes to the rest.
Ms. Kazempel?
Yes.
Mrs. Schechter?
Yes. Okay. Moving on to student activities and communications. Do we have a motion to approve the student activity communications item number 1?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Mr. Ross? Mr. Serrano?
Yes.
Mrs. Baker?
Yes.
Mrs. Clancy?
Yes.
Mrs. Hartong?
Yes.
Ms. Kazempo?
Yes.
Mr. LaLiberty?
Yes.
Mrs. Schechter?
Yes. Okay. Moving on to human resources. Do we have a motion to approve human resources items 1 through 34?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion?
Yeah, I have some.
Go ahead, Steve.
For M number 27, I believe that we talked about covering a $3.7 million gap this year. So before we vote on any salary this big, I think we should wait until our budget passes, because then we know where the chips fall and if we do indeed have the money for this. Secondly, if we make this hire today, and then we go ahead and we cut from the bottom, like we have been doing year after year, I think that's a slap in the face. So that's what I have to say. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to make a comment. We have an amazing woman who is retiring, who has big shoes to fill, and we need to fill those shoes. We cannot leave this district without an assistant superintendent. No matter what your feelings are, we need somebody that can work with Gretchen for a couple weeks before she does leave, and be ready to step in her huge shoes. No insult meant, you know what I mean? So, the other thing I want to comment on is I want to mention Lauren White, who was a social worker at Orchard Valley Middle School for 25 years, who's retiring. Gretchen, 31 years, who's retiring. Lois Petrozelli, who is the head cook at TJ, 25 years, is retiring. Krista Klein at TJ, 25 years, retiring. Madeline Morrow, school counselor at Bunker Hills, 24 years. Carl Palmer, school counselor at Washington Township High School, 8 years. And Richard Vogel, health phys ed teacher for 30 years. I want to thank you all for the time you put in for our kids.
Can I say something very quickly? Do you want to go first, Scott? Were you looking to speak?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, all right. So on 27, I don't know how you can't support filling that position, all right? Let's just go with that first. So if you say don't fill that position, I get there's budget concerns, but what do you think Gretchen does? You know, she's not just sitting there, sitting here for moral support. She has an extremely important job. A job like us being able to open a building in Pittman for pre-K that creates over 50 more jobs for people in this district, right? That she would spearheaded opening 2 buildings now that create over 100 jobs. So there is an impact that one role can have that impacts hundreds of people. That if we don't fill that, it's going to be catastrophic to this district. So that's the first part about filling that super important role. Secondly, we are extremely lucky to have an internal qualified candidate that's so qualified for this role, that's going to have the institutional knowledge, because my personal fear is not just filling that role, but the shoes that has to be filled and the institutional knowledge that she has. God help us if we didn't have somebody that was qualified and had the knowledge for that. So I'm thankful we have such a great candidate, and I hope my fellow board members recognize that and recognize that we can't afford not to fill that. $175,000 of salary is going to be a drop in the bucket to the chaos that will be caused if we don't fill it.
So hold on.
I have something to say too.
Yeah.
I just want to,
I want to be, hold on, Julie,
Yeah.
just give me 1 second. I want to be very clear about what I said. This isn't a knock on anyone who's in the position, who's in the position currently. This isn't a knock on the person who was put up for the position. What this is a board member concerned about the fact that we're going to make this hire, and then in a month and a half, we're going to tell 40 or 50 people or 30 people, bye guys, we have the money to hire this person, but you guys are gone. So I don't think that, that's where I'm coming from. So this isn't a knock on any one staff member. This isn't personal. This is business. So.
Thanks, Mr.
I'm
Serrano.
sorry,
I just want, 1 second, Ralph. I just want to confirm with Janine, the recommendation of the administration is that this position's in budget, correct, for this year?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
thanks. Ralph?
Yeah, I don't think Steve's saying that we're not in favor of that, Scott. I think what he's saying is hold off on it. And I kind of agree with that, because during the negotiations, we were told that if we passed the negotiations for the support staff and the teachers, that there was going to be massive cuts in the teachers and support staff. So I think what we need to wait and see is, what's the superintendent recommending that we cut?
Thank you, Ralph. Was there someone else? Go ahead, Julie.
I have no problem. I believe we need to fill that position 100%. I don't have a problem with, this has nothing to do with the person, and that's why I'm upset, because I know that sometimes when agendas are made, things can go on or not go on, and putting this on the agenda and having everyone come out, is in my opinion not a smart tactic if you want to accomplish the things you want to accomplish, Dr. Hibbs. So we asked you to take a look at the organization and structure, and along with this position, again, nothing against Tricia at all. I think she's great. I don't have a problem with this. It should have been part of a larger reorganization, which the board as a whole expressed we wanted you to do. And instead of building consensus, I think you kind of knew, I know Pat knew coming in here tonight, and she's not here to talk about that this was not going to pass. And now making it a personal thing, I don't appreciate that, because it's not a personal thing at all. It's not about Gretchen. It's not about Tricia. It's about the budget. It's about how all of this could simply wait until after our budget retreat, which is May 15th. That's why I'm voting no, and so I'm sorry about that, but this is the position we were put in, and I'm sorry you had to come out here and be embarrassed this way.
Quick question, when did we know it wasn't going to pass? Because I thought...
I don't think we do know that. I don't think we've...
Let me address a few things.
I thought it was a great idea with a great salary, and I thought it was going to pass with no problem. This is all new.
Can I ask Janine?
Hold on 1 sec. Let me take the floor to address some of the gross misrepresentations from Ms. Kazempel. No, come on, Julie. So first off, you calling me out for it not being a smart tactic is it's just not nice. And you're doing that on camera, and it's not necessary. And if people want to come out to support Gretchen and Trish, I actually think we should celebrate that. But that's clearly not celebrated here. Secondly, you frame things, and it's really important to use words. And unfortunately, I won't divulge what happened in executive session, because I believe that's where that conversation took place that you mentioned just in public. But I was not tasked by the board to do a reconfiguration. That was your idea, and I don't think it was a good idea. I think there are great ideas. That was not one of them. That is actually something that seeks to stop progress. Here is what the community needs to know. As of the beginning of May, we will have no one running curriculum in this district. I hope Washington Township hears this. I hope they actually make the TikTok of me and put the fangs on my face and say that no one will be running curriculum in this district. You should have, quite frankly, looked back at the past. What you did last year, the cuts that you made without consulting real people were catastrophic. Catastrophic. This position is in the budget. It's actually less than the budget. It supports every student and every staff member in this district. Everyone. Everyone. So, if you're going to vote it down, you can clearly vote your conscience, but you're not going to do it by saying things that are false.
I'm not saying anything that's false.
Oh, you did.
Everyone else can weigh in, and there are other positions connected to this, and you know that, Eric. There are other things connected to this position, and you know that.
Let's keep the discussion on the human resources.
Yeah.
So,
That's what we're talking about.
Elaine has a comment.
I asked Janine, what happens when Gretchen's retiring and we fill the position? As far as the money, the shifting of money.
Okay. As far as our current year budget, 25-26, we will have a short overlap with both positions being filled, but we do have funding available for that for other administrative positions that weren't filled for most of the year. And then as far as the 26-27 budget, when we're building the budget, the position would still be included at a lower salary than what is in the 25-26 budget.
Thanks, Janine. I just have, I guess I have a question for Nick, and this is, so, as a new board member, one of the things we're told is we're not administering the district. My concern or question is, this is run through committee, this HR, it's run through committee, we've discussed it, the administration has, shared that it's within the budget, right? So recognizing that next year's budget is looming, it's a very serious concern that's going to have very serious consequences, not to diminish that at all. At what point is sort of our action as a board supplanting the recommendations of the administration that's supported? Like, is that appropriate or not appropriate?
It's the board's prerogative as to whether or not to fill a position, or to create a position, or to abolish a position, or to leave a position vacant. That's the board's prerogative by way of a vote of the majority of the board.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Scott.
So I always try to say seek to understand before trying to be understood. So I'm trying to understand where some of you are coming from. I get the concerns about the budget, right? I said that for years and years and years. Totally get it. In my opinion, this is not the way you're going to solve the budget crisis, right? You're actually going to make it worse. In my view, you're going to make it worse. You're going to make it difficult for the staff here. We're going to make it difficult to carry through on actions which are going to create jobs. And by opening walls, you're going to create over 50 jobs. So if you have to have a cut necessarily at one position, you have another position to move someone to. So you're actually probably going to be costing jobs by doing something like this, where who's going to spearhead that effort? Just be real careful. I mean, I don't understand how you can think not to have somebody in that position that's running curriculum as assistant superintendent. I'm floored.
No one's saying that. If I could jump in.
Right?
This is difficult for me.
It has nothing to do with...
No. It has to do about the position. I do not want to vacate this position. I have to. And to leave it, and to put the community at risk, is a shame. That you would think about curriculum and instruction. That should be the number one thing you consider. That is why we're here. I don't know how you could put your head on a pillow and say, I did right tonight by voting out the person who leads the instruction for our children. And I'm sorry I can't finish the year. However, what you're doing to kids is catastrophic.
Thank you, Gretchen. Does anyone else have any
I'm sorry,
discussion?
I
Go
think
ahead, Linda.
not bringing Trish in now at the salary that was recommended, which, I mean, it's basically a wash. We're taking Gretchen's salary and just moving it over, less than. To not bring Trish in now, to start the work now, is only going to hurt us in the end. Because there is no way, and no offense against Trish, you're a brilliant person, whatever, great, but it's not Gretchen. And no one can do Gretchen's job but Gretchen. And if we are given the opportunity for Gretchen to sit down and she's allowing us time to sit and train someone and teach someone that could hopefully just hop in and start the job, to me, it's a no-brainer. Like, it's a huge department to fill. It's a huge role to fill. I honestly think most people don't know half of what Gretchen does or half of the person that she is. And that's sad if you don't know Gretchen that well, because to know Gretchen that well, you would think that she does the job of 12 people, so the salary could be even higher. And this isn't even talking about giving Trish a director. That's something that we can talk about for the next budget. But right now, we need somebody to come in and work with Gretchen. We need somebody that's going to help our kids. We need somebody that's going to open another preschool and be able to do so seamlessly. And the only way that's going to be able to happen is if we bring Trish in now to do the work that needs to be done. I feel like when you're talking about the muddy part of it, it becomes, well, we could do this, or we could do that, or we could... No, we need to do what's best for the kids right now. And right now, losing Gretchen is awful for us. So we need to bring someone in that's going to make it okay. I hate the fact that my daughter is going to have 2 years without Gretchen. But I love the fact that there's safety in the fact that Gretchen's going to train somebody to come in and do her job as well as her. And if you don't agree with that, then it makes me kind of wonder, why are you here? And it's a question that I asked 2 years ago when I started on the board. What is your end game? Because it's obviously not the kids. And if your end game is not the kids, please leave. Because it might not care about it if it's your kid or not. It's my kid. It's Terry's kid. It's Steve's kid. It's Scott's kid. If that's not what you care about, curriculum, then there's something wrong. Seriously wrong. Because the curriculum is what teaches our kids. It's what we're here for. So I think we all need to sit down and process why you're here. And if that's not what you're here for, then maybe your place is somewhere else. And I'm done.
Thank you, Linda. I just have something to add to the discussion. I'm very supportive of fiscal responsibility in this district. And I do think that our budget conversations are going to be extremely challenging. However, I would ask that we all reflect that in attempting to save what is fractions of a percent of our overall budget, fractions of a percent, with delays or looking, right, like that we consider the impact to the leadership. To Linda's point, my kids don't go to school here next year. They don't go to school here, they go all the time. An everyday loss that we don't have an opportunity for the right leader to sit next to what we all recognize is an incredible district employee is a minute lost, in my opinion. And I would ask that we really reflect if it's really about fiscal responsibility, or if this is just one of those things where we feel like we are using our own judgment in place of a room full of people that we say that we respect and trust their opinions. So that's my discussion. Is there any other discussion items?
I just think it's really unfair the way this is being presented, because we can't fully say to the public things that we've discussed, and I think it's really unfair. I'm just saying, I think it's really unfair the way this is being presented as a personal thing. There's a lot of other factors that go into these decisions, and so I just think that's unfair that we're being painted this way. If we
Talk about them
we can't,
then. Why not?
because they're personnel things that you mentioned to us in executive session.
If that's what you're going to hold over as a sword of Damocles, then just talk about it, and I'll be happy to address what I think the vision is. I'm happy to do that.
Steve, do you have a comment?
Do you plan to hire anyone else in that area?
So, and that's really what this is that side of the house, and Gretchen will be happy to tell you, requires 2 people to run. But what this vote is all about is 1 person to replace Gretchen. And I think Tricia will do an amazing job. She is smart, she is reflective, she has experience on both sides, reg ed and special ed. She's worked at the high school, she's been a principal at the elementary, she's got great curriculum experience. So this vote is about that. I'll be very honest, do I think that Washington Township needs a director under her? Without a doubt. And anyone of an educational background who sat down to have a conversation with me, I could convince you in a matter of minutes as to why. Because what we're here for is teaching and learning. That is why we are here, teaching and learning. We don't spend enough time talking about that. That is why we're here. So, but this vote is not that. And you would have the opportunity to vote no on that. To shut this down and do it in a cloud of secrecy when we're only talking about this position, I just don't think is the right call. We will not have anyone on the central side in CNI. There is no district, let me just say that again. There is no district that I know of that would ever engage in such an action that would put really the trajectory of children at risk. Gretchen is amazing. Gretchen has done the work of 3 people. I've learned a lot from Gretchen. I've watched her when in the director's role, she worked with Dr. Nathan and did an exceptional job running our elementary group and working alongside them. And then, you know, when I came back in August, I watched Gretchen take over the whole thing. Not just anyone could do that. And Gretchen will tell you she did a bad job. Gretchen's slightly crazy, we love her. She did a wonderful job, but she's drowning. And we shouldn't have to work till midnight. We just shouldn't. We should respect it. And when your educational leaders come to you and say it's not working, we can't do it, and we need support. That's what we need. We need support. I made all the right arguments. I supplied all the right evidence. You know, Title I audits alone and entitlement grants alone make that job untenable for 1 person. 1 person cannot rewrite curriculum, develop students to study, make sure we have common assessments, meet with J.B. Morgan to talk about our Google trajectory, run the secondary and the elementary to make sure that we are moving forward. I could go on and on and on. 1 person cannot do it. But no person? If 1 person can't do it, what does 0 people do? What are we sending, what message are we sending to the community? And you're gonna have to have an explanation. And my explanation will be that we need it and that I can't survive here without it. I'm already running HR, I cannot take on curriculum. It is not anywhere near feasible. And every head out there that sits in an administrative chair will tell you 100% that that is a necessary position.
Thank you, Dr. Hibbs. I do understand, Julie. I think it shouldn't be personal, right? Like, we're losing Gretchen, and Gretchen could have been anyone in this district. She just happens to be someone who's really influential and touches every single kid's life. I would say then that, right, if we're just thinking about from an organizational standpoint about having an opportunity for change management, I think that we need to put people in a position to succeed, and any delays, whoever the person is, whether it's this position or not, the only item for us to decide today, right, is are we approving this person that's been recommended in this position? And I just have real concerns that we continue to stop progress for future concerns or down the road concerns. And I'm not saying that they're not coming or here today, but I just don't know how we can continue to make the same choices and expect different results. Steve, did you have your hand up? Oh, sorry. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, roll call. Just to restate, it's motions for human resources, items 1 through 34.
Mr. Serrano?
No. No to M, number 27, yes to the rest.
Mrs. Baker?
No to 26, to 27, and yes to the rest.
Mrs. Clancy?
Yes.
Mrs. Hartong?
Yes.
Ms. Kazempel?
No to 27, yes to the rest.
Mr. LaLiberty?
Yes.
Mr. Ross?
No to 27, yes to the rest.
Mrs. Schechter?
I'm abstaining on number 1 because it's one of my expenses, and yes to the rest.
You have 4 names on 27.
Rest pass, number 27 did
Yep.
not pass.
So I would like the board to engage in a conversation about how you expect me to run this district appropriately when what you do is cut the positions that are necessary for it to run. So the board, the community may or may not know this, but the HR director position was not refilled. We were supposed to refill it with a manager, it passed through committee. The job description then failed. Board knows full well that I had to take over human resources, which is not in my job description. Now, we are not going to have an assistant superintendent for C&I. So I would like to hear your take on who's running this. Position is not filled. That wasn't the question, though. The question is, clearly, you voted the person down that has worked here for, I believe, 27 years, who is absolutely amazing. So who is running curriculum and instruction? Saying that you didn't eliminate the position, that's not the question. And it's a fair question. I'm your employee, and you tasked me with running all facets of this district. And you, slowly but surely, you actually take away my ability of actually leading the district. And you assign, essentially by elimination, the duties to myself or others. So please tell me, you made the decision now, who is running curriculum and instruction when Gretchen leaves?
Would anyone like to make a comment, or we can keep going? Not seeing any comments, I'll move on to finance and facilities.
I changed my mind.
Go ahead, Linda.
I do have a comment. I think it's disgusting that we voted number 27 down. I'm just putting it out there. I don't know how everyone can go home and think what you did tonight was a good job. It wasn't. It wasn't about the kids. We weren't voting on what was going to happen next week, in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks. We were voting on number 27 right here, right now. Nobody was asking you to vote on a possible director or a possible not director. We were asking you to vote for a position right now, today, the 2nd of March. Not asking you to vote something for 2 months later, a week later. We were asking for you to make the right choice for kids right now. And you failed.
I got a question. I was always under the impression that a board member reserved their right to vote on any agenda item the way they see fit, without any fear of repercussion, manipulation, chastising, right? Because if I did something like that, oh my God. No, it's not just you. It's not just you. This has been happening before. Oh my God, it's the end of the world. When we don't conform, or we don't, right? So we voted. Let's move on.
Okay,
I'd like to know what communication you're going to send to the community. I think if you're going to take this vote, you should send to the community that you just did not fill the C&I position. I think, honestly, all tens of thousands of residents should know this. I think moms and dads should know this. If you're going to make the vote, and Mr. Serrano, you can vote your conscience. I agree.
Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to solve this tonight. We're not going to solve it up here. The vote's been made. We have some executive time later. I'm going to move on at this point. I'm going to move on to Finance and Facilities. Do we have a motion to approve items 1 through 18 under Finance and Facilities?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Can we have a roll call, please?
Discussion?
Wait,
Oh, I'm so sorry. Discussion?
Yeah, I just want to say on number 6, page 25, the first 2 lines, I have to abstain.
Thank you, Elaine. Any other discussion?
yeah, I have a couple questions for the business administrator. Who is Direct Energy Business Marketing, and why are we paying them $124,000?
That's our energy supplier. So we bid out the delivery portion. It's a statewide bid through ACES, a co-op that we're involved in, and that is a portion of our electric bill.
Okay. The supply portion or the delivery portion? The supply portion.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And is that the same for UGI? Because I see South Jersey Gas for $85K, and then I see UGI for $48. So is UGI the pipeline supplier and South Jersey Gas the delivery mechanism?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
correct.
All right. Thank you.
Any other items for discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Mrs. Baker?
Yes.
Mrs. Clancy?
Yes, to everything except for what I mentioned.
And that was to abstain on page 25?
25, the first 2 lines.
Okay. Mrs. Hartong?
Yes.
Ms. Kazempo?
Yes.
Mr. La Liberty?
Yes.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Serrano?
Yes.
Mrs. Schechter?
Yes. Okay, thank you. Moving on to special education. Can I have a motion to approve item number 1 under special education?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Clancy?
Yes.
Mrs. Hartong? Yes. Mrs. Kazempo?
Yes.
Mr. La Liberty?
Yes.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Serrano?
Yes.
Mrs. Baker?
Yes.
Mrs. Schechter?
Yes.
Nothing for negotiations.
Thank you. Nothing for negotiations. Is there any new business at this time? Seeing none, can I have a motion to open up to the public?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Mr. DiStilio.
Mike DiStilio, Saddlebrook Drive. It's 100% personal with me. So in 2025, my principal colleagues who are right here, and I spoke about the hard work, dedication, and many points of pride across our schools that teachers and administrators collectively work as a leadership team. I can tell you at your leisure to talk about my own credentials, but in short, my credentials and experience afford me the ability to lead strategic organizational planning, including developing multi-year plans with diverse stakeholders, measurable goals, and I am clear on my purpose, and that is to serve others. And education is the vehicle I use to do that. So it is with that high standard that I must assert that not approving the superintendent's recommendation for a proven leader who has worked at all levels and has the experience to support the organization and every single child in this district is both myopic and dangerous. The audacity of members of the board to believe that they can stall or thwart the hiring of the head of instructional leadership signals that the board as a governing body has either misplaced its focus or abandoned its core mission altogether. A member of the board once said in a board meeting that education is not a business. I totally disagree. It's very much a business, and our children are the customers. They are the beneficiaries of the product that we provide. When we don't invest in providing the best product out there by doing right by the workers or the leaders that are actually developing the product, we lose our customers and the organization will fail all the time, just like it does in business. So by that standard, I want to make sure everybody knows who the customers are. It's not a collective bargaining unit, it's not an adult, it's not a parent. It is the children entrusted into our care, and therefore I need to ask the board if they can truly assert that they followed the best scenario each time to provide our customers, the kids, with the best product, or have they at times chosen to placate what they individually wanted, not what was needed for kids. I cannot personally get mired down in the back and forth between attorneys, board members, administrators, and lawsuits. That's all noise that gets in the way of doing what we need to do for our student customers. If the board's focus is solely on internal strife, one-upmanship, and strategizing for votes, it has undeniably lost its way and its ability to lead effectively for the customer. I appreciate you listening to this critical perspective, and so my singular and urgent request is this. Recognize that a district of our size needs an assistant superintendent of instruction to be the steward of robust learning in Washington Township and a viable place for our students to thrive and to attract high-quality professionals. I respectfully request that you go back into executive and make a good decision and make sure you're voting to protect the learning prowess of our students and make sure you respect the professionalism, body, and work of our colleague on the agenda and the recommendation of the superintendent. You can still change it by making a good decision for children. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bastilio. Mr. Wass?
Raymond Wass, 7 Patriot Lane, Washington Township. So I am very dissatisfied by the board's decision on 27 on personnel, and for a person that is highly qualified and actually a teacher that I had and everything else who is highly qualified in knowing what they're doing in education, in instructional, and everything else. You're making a wrong decision for our town, for our district. And the reason why you're doing something like this is absolutely horrific. Because as someone who is going into this profession, going into it, for student teaching, not here, but for somewhere else, they have this stuff. Why? Why do it to the educator that needs someone to help do stuff? Make sure we have curriculum, make sure we have everything in place, have things be updated and be efficient for things that we need as educators. Our principals are going to suffer, our teachers are going to suffer, and it's going to become a massive problem, and we're going to have to struggle. Hello? I don't want to see that for our teachers, for our administrators, and everyone else. That is horrendous. Horrendous. For those who voted no, I am disgusted. You guys have to rethink. You have to go back into executive. She has the paralysis to do this. I guarantee you, if you guys talked it out and did something tonight, it would be best, because when she's gone, whatever happens to what happens tonight will be truly a disservice to us all. And I am livid by your decision.
Thank you so much, Mr. Waz. Ms. Kozar?
I'm not angry. It's okay. Going back to something Dr. Hibbs mentioned, which is the fact that he's had to take over the HR position, seeing as we don't have anybody in there. I do remember the proposed salary being voted down, which is probably why the job's not been filled. But has there been any progress on a new salary or any discussions, or has anybody applied for the position? Because it's been vacant now for quite some time. And thank you, Dr. Hibbs, for filling in for both positions. But, you know, people shouldn't be expected to do 2 jobs. You know, I don't drive a bus and be a bus aide at the same time. You know, it's not in my job description. Somebody else is paid to do that job because we need 2 people, okay? So we need to make a bigger effort on filling some of these positions, the higher positions, the lower positions. I don't know why we're not getting them filled. Is it because of the salary? Is it because of the atmosphere here? I don't know. But we need to do something about this. We can't be paying out millions of dollars for ESS and not having, you know, the really important jobs being filled. They need to be filled. This district needs people in these positions to run effectively and efficiently. Thank you.
Chrissy,
Thank you,
as
Ms.
a clarification, it wasn't the salary that was voted down. It was the job description, right, Janine? It was the job description in general that was voted down.
I thought it was a new salary that had been proposed and nobody wanted the new salary. Okay.
We cut the salary tremendously.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Capio?
Hi, Carrie Capio, parent. I want to throw something out there about the 26-27 school calendar, just for consideration. I know Labor Day is later in the month, but if you guys are going to continue to have conversations about the calendar, can we try to look at moving school to start after Labor Day? That's especially if we're shortening spring break. That's what I have to say. I did not get the agenda with the Denovi contract payout. I was under the impression that that contract had ended when we brought on Interactive Kids. That's what I have to say there. And Ms. Gerber, congratulations on your retirement. I am a parent that is directly affected by Ms. Gerber and her retirement. Ms. Gerber has been tasked taking over the emotional support program where my child attends. Since my child has started to attend the emotional support program, she has been through 4 administrators. She has only been in the program 3 years. With Ms. Gerber leaving, that's going to be a 4th administrator who is going to now oversee the emotional and behavioral support programs that this district has. Anybody familiar with the emotional support program? I spoke about it in last April.
Thank you, Ms. Capio. Dr. Giberson?
We approve agencies who do similar work for various reasons. So that one agency was also approved for students. We actually have used both.
Good evening. So I didn't plan on speaking, but I know a thing or two about budgets and people. People matter. I did my dissertation on the human capital theory. These conversations, they all matter. And it's going to affect Washington Township Public Schools in the near future. Gretchen, congratulations. Gretchen has been toggling many hats, and us as principals, we feel the ripple effect. And we have contacted each other in Gretchen's absences. And then Gretchen contacts us at 9:30, 9:45, 10:15. Who do we have to go to? I've worked alongside Tricia Holmes for 21 years. We both worked at the high school as teachers, as young teachers, and she could not have found a more perfect candidate. And by my estimation, what her current salary is and what the proposed salary, we're talking $1,975 for the remainder of the year. $1,975. In addition to paying for an interim, I've been down that acting/interim role. I know what that's like. But people matter. Okay? Human capital theory by Becker, it talks about people's knowledge, skills, and abilities. KSA. Tricia Holmes has the knowledge, the skills, and the ability to not only lead as an assistant superintendent, but to be a point person for each and every one of the supervisors and principals here. You say, wait to the budget retreat. That doesn't make us feel good. That doesn't give us safety and security, knowing that there's going to be a point person that we know that has longevity in the district and longitudinal knowledge. It's one thing that I think sometimes we mistake and forget about is what happened before. What happened in the 2000s? What got us to this point? And in addition to what Dr. Hibbs said, she was also a supervisor of special ed at the elementary and the high school level, and toggled in the middle school. So she has gone across the gamut of what she brings to this district. So again, I ask you guys to reconsider. So we have a leader moving forward, and we know that we have a point person. Thank you so much for the consideration, and have a great evening.
Thank you, Dr. Graberson. I don't have any more cards. Would anyone like to move to close to the public? All in favor? So, now I'll use this, right, Nick?
Yeah, so there is outside counsel here to present to the board in executive session, if the board would so entertain to go into executive session, but the subject matter would require invoking the doctrine of necessity, as there would be a lack of a quorum if the doctrine was not invoked. So there will be a proposed resolution that is read by the president for the board's consideration.
I'll read the resolution into effect. Whereas the Board of Education of Washington Township, or the board, is a public body subject to the Open Publics Meeting Act, NJSA 10:4-6, OPMA, and whereas pursuant to NJSA 10:4-12 and NJSA 10:4-13, the board may enter executive session only after first adopting in public session a resolution stating the general nature of the subject matter to be discussed and the time when the discussion may be disclosed. And whereas the board must also maintain a quorum during executive session in order to lawfully deliberate, and whereas the board seeks to enter executive session to discuss pending litigation entitled Hibbs v. Washington Township Board of Education et al. And personnel matters related to Superintendent Eric Hibbs. And whereas board members Pat Bloom, Linda Hartong, Connie Baker, Ralph Ross Sr., Julie Kozempel, and Steve Serrano have identified actual or potential conflicts of interest under NJSA 18A:12-24 with respect to discussion involving Superintendent Eric Hibbs, and whereas 6 of the 9 board members are therefore disqualified from participation in matters involving Superintendent Hibbs, it's still green, and whereas without the participation of said 6 members, the remaining 3 non-conflicted members do not constitute a quorum of the board, and whereas absent a quorum, the board lacks the legal authority to adopt the resolution required by OPMA to enter executive session and will be unable to deliberate in executive session, thereby causing the meeting to conclude for a lack of quorum. And whereas the litigation and personnel matters to be discussed implicate significant public interest, including the board's legal position, potential litigation exposure, and the effective administration of the school district, and whereas the identified conflicts are expected to continue in the foreseeable future, which would otherwise render the board unable to address these matters at any public meeting, as whereas there is no alternative forum in which the board may discuss pending litigation or personnel matters, as such discussions must occur in executive session during a duly convened public meeting pursuant to OPMA, and whereas the board finds that 1, there exists a pressing public need for board to address the above referenced litigation and personnel matters. 2, there is no alternative forum in which the board may take the required procedural and deliberative actions. And 3, the board cannot act without the participation of the otherwise disqualified members because a quorum cannot otherwise be achieved either to enter executive session or to conduct deliberations therein. Now therefore be it resolved that the board hereby invokes the doctrine of necessity for the limited purpose of permitting the participation of the otherwise disqualified members identified above in order to 1, establish a quorum, to consider and vote upon the resolution required by NJSA 10:4-13 to enter executive session, and 2, maintain a quorum and participate in executive session discussions strictly limited to the pending litigation entitled Hibbs v. Washington Township Board of Education et al., and personnel matters related to Superintendent Eric Hibbs. Be it further resolved that the participation of said members pursuant to the doctrine of necessity is authorized solely because their absence would prevent the board from fulfilling its statutory obligations under OPMA and would substantially impair the public interest. Okay. And now I have to read this one.
No.
Okay.
Now we have to have, we
Can someone-
have to ask if there is a motion to adopt the resolution.
Can someone move to adopt the resolution, please?
To invoke the doctrine.
Second? To invoke the doctrine. Roll call.
Sorry, I'm writing.
Yeah.
I need your thing. Back. Mr. Serrano?
Yes.
Mrs. Baker?
Yes.
Mrs. Clancy?
No.
Mrs. Hartong?
Yes.
Ms. Kazempel?
Yes.
Mr. La Liberty?
Yes.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Mrs. Schechter?
Yes. Now I read.
So the doctrine has been invoked, so we can now consider the resolution to actually go into executive session.
Okay, so now that the doctrine's been invoked, we're going to consider the resolution to go into executive session. So for the board's consideration, whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6, at sequence, I don't know, permits a public body to exclude the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this board is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, now therefore it be it resolved by the Board of Education of Washington Township in public session that the board shall enter executive sessions for the purpose of discussing pending litigation entitled Hibbs v. Washington Township Board of Education et al., including strategy, legal advice of counsel, and matters falling within the attorney-client privilege. And number 2, confidential personnel matters related to Superintendent Eric Hibbs. Be it further resolved that the minutes of the executive session shall be kept and may be withheld from public disclosure so long as the need for confidentiality continues. And be it further resolved that the matters discussed in executive session will be disclosed to the public when the need for confidentiality no longer exists, consistent with NJSA 10:4-13. And be it further resolved that formal action may or may not be taken upon return to public session. Do I have a motion to approve the resolution?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Mrs. Baker?
Yes.
Mrs. Clancy?
Yes.
Mrs. Hartong?
Yes.
Ms. Kazempel?
Yes.
Mr. La Liberty?
Yes.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Serrano?
Yes.
Mrs. Schechter?
Yes. The board will now go to executive session. Thank you so much to the members of the public. If you could please exit so we can have our executive session.
It was nice, it wasn't what it is today.
Adjourn the meeting? Right? Do we have to open a public?
I thought we just did that, no?
We closed executive.
No, we don't, if you close it, go ahead, motion to open to the public.
I motion to
Open the meeting.
open the meeting to the public.
So moved. We did that.
Second, we did that at 10:29, so I put that in the minutes I didn't write down.
All in favor?
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? No?
Now motion
Now-
to adjourn, right?
Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 10:30?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you.
Amen.
Scott?